Hello, I'm S. On to this video, I show how we can use GPIO peripheral in STM32 series F1. We move to HAL library and you can see, this file is related to STM library for HAL. Go to chapter 20, go to chapter 20, you can see HAL GPIO generic driver. Okay, to this part we familiar with some function in output, input, toggle, and so on. And I can show you in this page. You can see the mode for pin input mode, analog mode, output mode, alternative function mode, external interrupt or even line. This is a mode for GPIO peripheral. And okay, you can see initialize or deinitialize. I see this function in the K and IO operation function. This part is really important. You can see HAL underline GPIO read pin, HAL underline GPIO write pin, HAL underline GPIO toggle pin, and HAL underline GPIO lock pin, HAL underline GPIO external interrupt IRQ handle, and HAL underline GPIO external interrupt call back. This part is really important. I highlighted so you can see read pin, write pin, toggle pin. I will explain later to this function in interrupt, and lock pin is not important, I think so, but read pin, write pin, and toggle pin is more important than the other item. Okay, let's go through the function and where is the initialize, you can see. I find HAL underline GPIO underline read pin. This you can see there function. We can use this operation. We write GPIO underline pin state HAL underline GPIO underline write pin GPIO underline type def. This part means which port you want to program. For example, port A, port B, port C, or D. And this part is the number of that pin. For example, pin underline 9, pin underline 8, pin underline 6, or the other pin you want to program. Okay, next function is HAL underline GPIO underline write pin. You can see the function of that. We have three part, 1, 2, 3, but in read pin we have 1 and 2, just 2. Okay, move to GPIO write pin. Part 1 is the same as read pin, is not different. GPIO A, B, C, or D, which port. And second is about number of pin. For example, pin underline 9, pin underline 8, pin underline 1, or so on. And the last one you can see, we can set or clear. We can put in there 1 for set and 0 for clear the pin. Okay, go through the, I show you, toggle pin. Toggle pin is important, better to know. Function is here. You can see toggle pin, same as read pin. We have two part. The first one is GPIO A or B or C or D, and the second one is the number of pin we want to program or do something that happen. Just that, The other function is not important. As I say, uh, I explain later external interrupts in the other video. Okay, we move to STM and open it. Wait a second, remind later. Okay, this page is on STM CubeMX and access to MCU selector which micros you want. Okay, put left click in here, part number F103RE. This micro I work with that is not different, and you can see this micro, so all page and all pin is available as you want. Okay, for example, PC1 pin I set as input and PC2 set as output, and I show you what kind of option we have in GPIO. You go to system core and then GPIO, and you can see PC1 and PC2. PC1 is GPIO mode is input mode and PC2 is output. I choose that micro and you can see there in there. Okay, next step, what kind of step state in here? Uh, Input mode, when you click this pin PC1, you can see GPIO mode, GPIO pull up or pull down, and user label. GPIO mode, you can choose it before. This pin is input, set as input. Okay, you choose the pull up or pull down. I explain pull up and pull down. What is the pull up and pull down in the circuit, and a disadvantage and advantage of that to this video. Okay, you can use user label, for example, special pin, you want to name it. This field, you can write the name and the save. Go to output, yeah. Click to PC2 and you can see output level. uh, if you want the output level is low, by default is low, and if you want is high, click here. You have two options, low and high. You can choose high and you can choose low. It's not different, but when we start the program the micro, you can choose two level, low or high. High means one and on, low means zero and off. GPIO mode, you can see output open drain or output push pull. I always choose output push pull, and you can pull up and pull down in here, and user label, same as I said about user label, just it. I run 3 or 4 code, for example, in Kale and STMQ, and it's not bad to know about how I write the code and set output and input mode. Let's go through the project. I write this code for myself, and I want to show how I write this code. You can see one file STM and MDK for ARM. First I open STM32 CubeMX to show a pin I called to this project P10 GPIO output, and just like that is really simple code for learning. Go through the Kale, and okay, this project goes down, and you can see I use HAL library and write pin and write pin. Okay, for example, for this code, you can see HAL underline GPIO underline write pin, GPIO A, GPIO underline pin underline 10 and 1. As I explained, uh, this part is related to which port A or B or C or D is. The second part is about which pin. For example, GPIO underline pin underline 9, 8, 1 or 0. And the last one is about set or the clear. You can see I set. And after that I use delay, and then I write HAL underline GPIO write pin to the same pin, but to this function I put 0 in here. After that I use HAL delay. Okay, uh, compile this project, 0 error and 0 warning, you can see that, and compile on the board. I compiled this program on my board, and I'll show you this code is related to LED blink, and you can see my LED on my board blink. Okay, I will show you this LED in my pin. Yeah, that's really clear blink when I compile this code, and you can see this LED blink for how we can use. Okay, move to another project, and this project is finished, and you saw the result of this code, and I have LED on my board, and this LED is blink in uh, delay, you can see. Okay, we go through the next project. To next project, I use read pin and write pin, both of them. Okay, go to GPIO in project. I called, open the STM Cube Mix. I show you the pin. Okay, you can see PB14 GPIO input and PB12 GPIO output. I mark it in here, and before I forgot something. Before you program your code with a program ST-Link, this is really important. Go to system core and go to system, and this debug is by default is no debug. Change to serial wire, because when we don't choose this option, when you have program your code in your board, you have problem. This is really important. This point is really important, and I always do it because I have problem when I program my board. uh, then go to the MD ARM GPIO, and I show you my code. Yeah, I write this code. This is really simple, as you see. Uh, it's better than you study if you study function of C language before you write any code. in the key. I use this key pin on GPIO B pin underline 14. This is the key I show you in my board, and the main thing is there is really important. When we use the key, we must circuit the key pull up or pull down. Let's explain the circuit of the key. Okay, go through the LED type now, pull up and pull down. You can see this page and pull up and pull down. When you use the key in your circuit, it's really important to install or use pull up or pull down form in your key. All key in my board is pull up, is like this. You know, when you push the button in here, 0 go up over here, or when we don't push in here, we have VSC voltage high in here. The next is a pull down. When we pushed in here, we have high voltage in there. When we don't push, we have a grounding here. This is really important when we have a button or key in my project. Go through the code. I write this code if hall underline GPIO underline read pin GPIO B GPIO underline pin 40. I explained that we have two. One is port. When we use read pin, we have two. Function is here. We have pin. We have number of pin. If this is 0, hall underline GPIO underline right pin. This code is I explain this code. I push the button or the key in my project. When I pushed, the LED is on, and when I don't push the push button, the LED is off, or reverse is not important. I use push button and LED. I use one input and one output. You can see I comment in here. Okay, let's program this code. Before I program this function in my board, I explain you two kind of LED or two type of LED. You can see common cathode circuit, common anode circuit. As usual, LED or RGB, you can see this RGB structure in here is common cathode, but sometimes we have common anode in my circuit, and all LED in my board is common anode. Let's explain what happens here. This pin and this and this and this triple connected to micro, and this we have a high voltage. Imagine we have the key in here in pull up, and we have 0 is this on, and we have high voltage is off, and this is the 0. This is the reverse to this common cathode, and I'll show you in my board with two LED. One is external and one LED is in my board and is common on its circuit. I program this project, and I want to show in my board. Let's show you in my board. Okay, you can see board with two LED. Okay, E4 is in my board, and I'm an anode. And this part is that external LED. You can see one of them is on and the other is off. Because I explained that we have common anode or common cathode. Okay, let I push this key and you can see what happened in my board. Okay, one of them is on and the other is off. You can see that. This is not important, and I explain you what happened in my board because we have two type of LED. One of them is common anode and the other is common cathode. You can see two kind of LED in here. When I push the key, the micro found 0 level, and then you can see that on or off. Okay, go through the next project and I show you the next project. The next project is toggle pin. What the meaning of the toggle? When we have a pin and we set as 1 and then set as 0 and then set as 1 and then set 0, this called its toggle pin, same as LED blink. If I say the better, we have two function for LED blink. We can use toggle pin, or the other side is uh, one time is set and we have delay and clear, and we have delay is LED blink. And I show you this project. First click the STM32 CubeMX. uh, okay, okay, you can see GPIO output mode in CubeMX, and two port is related to, say, go to system, and when go to system, click here and go to serial wire, because you don't have you can't program your board when don't choose this option. Okay, go through the project. Toggle pin. Toggle pin is here. You can see Hall underline GPIO underline toggle pin. GPIO A, B, or C. I choose B. GPIO underline pin 12 and GPIO underline pin 13. I choose both of that with or. It's C language. You must study what happens here, but I choose both of them with this or. Compile. Okay, zero error, zero warning, and compile on my board. Load. Okay, I show you my board. You can see two LED in my board blinking with toggle pin D3 and D4 with toggle function. You can see that both of them because I choose both. GPIO is finished. This code is really simple code, and I just want to show how we can use write pin, read pin, and toggle pin, and you can improve my code to better or a useful code. And thanks for watching me. Please subscribe me. Bye.